Although you may not be impacted by COVID-19 medically speaking, in some way, we're all affected.
Yeah, we're feeling that impact in this pandemic in some form or fashion. There's an uncomfortable feeling and we just can't put our finger on it. But DNFL's own is here to help explain. Good morning.
Good morning to the both of you. Maybe that feeling you have is grief, not, in the terms of necessarily losing someone, but losing that control of our lives or what we thought was secure, kind of grieving the way things used to be.
Grief is that emotional response to loss. And right now, what's happening is that we have so many layers of loss or so many potential circles of loss. And some of them are very visible and some of them are invisible.
Just like COVID-19, a threat we can't see, but yet has turned our lives upside down, forcing plans big and small to be changed and canceled. Life as we know it, different.
And then there are these personal losses, financial losses, family system losses that are just kind of all sprinkled without. And it can be easy to ignore or forget about when you think, well, I'm in my house. If I'm not an essential worker, I can limit my exposure. And yet it's a constant thing.
Psychotherapist Bethany DeBlay explains it this way.
It's one of those things with grief and loss where there's often energy spent towards it that we're not realizing is being spent, right? Because it's not always front of mind. It's not necessarily conscious, like, the energy it takes to empty the dishwasher or whatever it is. But like suddenly we realize I don't actually have the energy to empty the dishwasher. And what have I been doing today? Well, there's been this other emotional energy going on, spent, that is exhausting.
And then there's trying to balance everyone's emotions in your home right now.
Think about if you do have multiple people in your home, right? So other people are having up and down moments during the day, right? So then you maybe are feeling okay, but then for whatever reason, that child is having their down, so syncing that all up, there's a lot of things going on.
It's why DeBlay says it's important to not spend energy avoiding or resisting those emotions, but to actually feel those waves of emotion as they come in.
Part of that is like just acknowledging the discomfort, whatever discomfort that you feel. And even if it's as simple as saying like, I'm grouchy right now, or I'm so tired, or my whole body is so heavy.
And no, those highs and lows will come and go.
It is very much like a traditional grief, if we want to think of traditional grief as like the loss of a loved one, where people are having like a day where they have high level and high energy and high connection. And then for no apparent reason, the next day, none of that is available. That is happening to everyone.
And now more than ever, it's important to give yourself and others grace and compassion.
Everything is harder. Every single thing. Every single thing. The grocery shopping's harder, getting the garbage out, that visiting, do I talk to my mail delivery? Do I not? I mean, it's all this energy we're spending thinking about all these things we weren't thinking about. We just did with freedom, which is also causing fatigue. We're carrying a lot right now, even if we think we aren't.
So some really good things to think about there. Another thing that she talked about, you heard her mention, is letting those feelings out, trying not to keep them in. And then that could just be as simple as maybe sending a text to someone kind of like, I'm not feeling it today, kind of having a rough day. And if you're on the receiving end of that, just saying like, I get it. I understand what you're saying, and not trying to fix it or solve it, because so often that's what we want to do, right? But I think just in general, not everyone obviously is feeling this way, but if you are, especially those highs and lows that you're going through all of this, just know that you're definitely not alone. I think a lot of people are going through that for sure.
It certainly is, and glad to finally get an idea of what this is all about. So.
Absolutely.
All right.